The discovery happened by accident. A team of researchers was clearing out a forgotten room in an old government archive, somewhere in northern Romania. The place had been untouched for decades. No electricity, just cracked floors, rusted cabinets, and shelves covered in thick dust. In the far back corner, behind a stack of rotting boxes, they found it. A single wooden crate. No markings, no serial number. Nothing in the system showed it was ever there. It was like the box had been hidden, on purpose. Inside were letters. All of them handwritten, all carefully folded. Some were tied with string. Others were loose, stained by time and moisture. But the weirdest part? Every letter had a date. And those dates? They stretched from 1901 to 2000. An entire century of correspondence. At first, it seemed normal, until they actually started reading them. That's when the unease kicked in. Because the names mentioned in these letters, the events, the cities, the technologies, none of them existed. Not in history books, not in any public records, not even in folklore. It was like reading letters from a world that had run parallel to ours, and then got erased. One historian called it historical noise, a collection of forgotten thoughts. But others started calling it something else, the dead century. Because this wasn't just a box of old paper. It was a window into a timeline we were never supposed to see. Have you ever found something that just didn't make sense? Not like a random object or an old photo. I mean something that makes you stop and think, wait, this shouldn't exist. A few years ago, deep in a forgotten archive in Europe, a sealed box was discovered. No name, no date, no label, just dust, silence, and something that would change everything. Inside that box were letters, dozens of them. But here's the part no one can explain. Every single one is from a century that never officially happened. They call it the dead century. And what those letters describe might be closer to our reality than anyone's ready to admit. At first glance, the letters looked like just old notes from the past. Nothing too strange. But then the dates started raising eyebrows. From 1901 to 2000, a full 100 years, a complete century. But when the researchers compared the content to actual historical records, nothing matched. There were no mentions of world wars, no Cold War, no Great Depression. Instead, the letters talked about things like the black glass floods of 1913, the sky collapse of 47, and something called the Winter of Static. None of these events ever happened. Not in our reality, anyway. The cities mentioned? They don't exist on any map. The leaders named? No trace of them. Even the technology described is strange, familiar, but twisted. One letter described machines that run on thought. Another spoke of a global language made entirely of numbers. And yet another referenced something called the memory tax, where people were forced to give up their own memories in exchange for safety. The further they read, the more impossible it all sounded. And yet, the details were too consistent. The handwriting, the paper, the ink, everything pointed to these being real, physical artifacts from somewhere. Or somewhen. That's when the term, the dead century, started to stick. A century that wasn't recorded. A timeline that may have existed, and then somehow got overwritten, or maybe buried. But the real question isn't just, where did these letters come from? It's, why were they hidden? And why does it feel like they're just now starting to resurface? As the researchers pored over the letters, they started to realize something terrifying. The letters weren't just strange, they were full of horrors. Not the kind you'd expect, not wars or monsters, but disturbing, quiet horrors. The kind that creep up on you, one small detail at a time. Let me share a few excerpts with you. Here's one dated June 14th, 1947. They took the sky today. Not the stars, not the clouds, the sky itself. We woke up to nothing but white and silence. I don't think it's coming back. Imagine waking up, looking out your window and seeing nothing but blank white space where the sky used to be. Just nothing. A sky without color, without shape. And then the silence. Total, absolute silence. It doesn't just feel wrong. It feels like something was taken. Here's another from October 3rd, 1982. The city is gone. Not destroyed. Gone. I walked all night in the fog and couldn't find a single building. Only the mailbox remained. Still red, still warm. A whole city, vanishing into thin air. Buildings, roads, even people, all gone. But the mailbox, it was still there. Red and warm, like it had just been touched. And one more. This one's from 1979. They changed the clocks again, but it's not about time anymore. It's about control. We sleep at noon now. We wake up in the dark. No one questions it. Time itself becoming a tool for control. The clock ticking in a way that no one can stop. We sleep when they say, we wake when they say. A life lived not by choice, but by someone else's will. And then, the last one. The one that really chills me. There's no date, no name, just a single line. If you're reading this, your century is next. A warning. A message left behind as if someone knew what was coming. And they knew it would come for us. The thing that's most unsettling about these letters isn't just their eerie contents. It's that some of the events described in them, things that never happened, are starting to show up in our world today. Take the red sky. Remember that letter from 1947? The one where the writer wakes up and sees a sky that's completely white? No clouds, no stars, just empty. Well, in recent years, strange atmospheric phenomena have been reported across the globe. Unusual red skies. In parts of Asia, Europe, and even North America, people have woken up to skies that were not just cloudy, but a deep, unnatural red, almost like the sun was being blocked out by something we couldn't see. No one can explain it. Meteorologists call it wildfires, pollution, dust storms. But the intensity of these skies, it feels wrong. Now, let's talk about that vanishing city from 1982. Remember the letter about the city that disappeared overnight, with only a red mailbox remaining? In 2021, a town in northern Canada, Shishmaref, reported something similar. Not a full city disappearing, but large swaths of land washed away due to unpredictable weather and rising tides. Buildings were swallowed whole, while some mysteriously stayed intact. People said it felt like the place was being erased. Some even claimed they could feel the air growing colder, like something was taking the town. And here's the creepiest part. The researchers discovered that some of these letters were written by people who were still alive, at least according to the records. There were references to towns that, as far as official records go, don't exist anymore. Yet, they have been documented by travelers, often described as abandoned, like they're stuck in time. It's almost as if the timeline itself is shifting, fading, a hidden history we can't fully access, but it's bleeding through to our reality. And finally, the clock-changing phenomenon from 1979, where people were forced to live on a schedule that wasn't their own. We're seeing something disturbingly close to that in our world right now. Time zones are being redefined. Governments are debating over changing time for the entire planet to follow a new universal clock. There's even talk about syncing every country to a single global day, to make our world more uniform, more controlled. What's even stranger is the way people are starting to lose track of time altogether. Have you ever noticed how it feels like the days are slipping away faster? It's not just you. Studies have shown that our sense of time is getting shorter. The way we perceive time is changing. We may be heading into something unfamiliar, something none of us signed up for. So, could these letters be warning us about what's happening now? Are we on the verge of our own dead century? Are we just seeing the first signs? After all the strange, unsettling things the letters described, it's the last letter that haunts me the most. There's no name at the top, no date, just a single haunting line. If you're reading this, your century is next. That's it. No more explanation, no more details, just a warning, a message left behind, almost like someone knew we would find it, knew we'd be reading this right now. But what does it mean? What's coming next? And why does it feel like something is already in motion? We're living in strange times. The world is changing, faster than ever before. Events that once seemed impossible are now happening. Red skies, cities disappearing, time slipping away. The question isn't what happened in the dead century. It's what's going to happen next. Because if these letters were warning us, maybe it's already started. Maybe we're already in the middle of it, and we just don't know it yet. If this story left you feeling a little uneasy, if it made you question the world around you, or made you wonder what secrets are hiding just out of sight, then don't forget to subscribe. There's a lot more hidden history, forgotten stories, and strange mysteries out there waiting to be uncovered. And trust me, we're just getting started. So, stay tuned, because the truth is out there, and it's closer than you think. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.